Suggesting that right with the kind of atmosphere that we're having now and with Grenada's position now being so, call it low, with the COVID-19 cases, we're down to not. We have no cases presently on island. I'm sure this is a place you would like to be, correct?
Very much so.
I can only suggest. So just give us a little feel as to what it is like now, the feeling on the ground in the UK in terms of regulations and so the adjustments that have been made and just about what's going on in the UK.
As you probably know, luckily here the lockdown was really consent based, so there wasn't a lot of police. But luckily we came out of this serious situation in different times, but more or less by mid-June, early July, the whole of Europe was to some extent open.
What do you think would have contributed to that spike again? Since, I mean, at certain point it was on lockdown and now, you know, kind of gradually opening up. What do you think would have led to the spike? And who's affected most, would you say, among the population that would have lost their lives?
Okay. On the first part, what caused it, as I said, it is to be expected. You can't keep people locked in all the time. So the moment you open the gates, of course, there will be some degree of floods. I think is mainly because people are traveling a lot more, and especially schools and university have opened. So it's actually, there has been a lot of finger pointing to young people. I would like to come in their defense, on the contrary. I think they've been absolutely wonderful. I don't know how I would have coped if this had happened when I was 17 or 25. Not clear why, possibly because there is a higher incidence also of people of color. They have been hit much worse. Meaning not necessarily that they get ill in greater numbers, but that once they contract the virus, they tend to have symptoms and serious ones. Perhaps the mask, again, that's completely controversial. You hear one source telling you masks are absolutely critical, other sources saying no. Just to remind everyone, masks are really to protect the others from you rather than you from the others.
I'm happy that you mentioned the fact of the mask wearing, because right now in Grenada, despite we don't have any cases at the moment, we're opening up to commercial flights from this weekend. And, you know, with flights coming in still, is expected that persons might possibly come in infected. So now wearing of the mask has become mandatory, whether it's on the public buses or in the, once you're in the public space, it has become mandatory now for persons to really wear the mask. What lessons do you think Grenada perhaps can learn, you know, from the experiences that you would have mentioned that you had in your past, and even from Spain's end, knowing that you had relatives over there?
So I would say definitely open to the general public and international flights. However, I think stressing those very, very simple 3 rules of keeping distance when you can, washing your hands, and wearing a mask in kind of tight and indoor situation, that can go a really, really long way.
Christina, I want to thank you for sparing us a few minutes of your time to share. And I'm sure that Grenadians can learn from the experience of, you know, countries like the UK and, you know, other countries experiencing perhaps the second wave of that virus now. We're hoping that it doesn't really spread to our part and we remain as free as we are at the moment.